This episode is sponsored by BetterHelp. The holidays are over, the decorations are down, and suddenly everything feels a little empty. It's normal to feel the winter blues after the holiday excitement. January, February, and March are by far my least favorite months of the year. It's cold and dark, and I have to get some extra vitamin D on board. I also need to keep my regular scheduled appointments with my therapist. So if you're feeling that post-holiday funk, I definitely suggest you checking out BetterHelp because maybe it's time to talk. You might also be one of those people like me who makes New Year's resolutions and you get super motivated. So maybe you need someone behind you to hold you accountable and come up with a plan to meet your goals. BetterHelp is super convenient, totally online. You have a therapist right at your fingertips whenever you need them. So head over to betterhelp.com/wifeofcrime1 to get 10% off your first month. That's betterhelp.com/wifeofcrime1 for 10% off your first month.
Bored at home? Head over to Chumba Casino and join some serious social casino fun. With hundreds of games at your fingertips, no purchase necessary. You can play anytime, anywhere. There's a special welcome bonus waiting for you when you sign up. Play for fun, play for free, and you could even redeem some great prizes. Visit ChumbaCasino.com and get ready to reel in the fun. Sponsored by Chumba Casino. No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus terms and conditions apply.
This podcast is an unscripted, unedited conversation about true crime. We take the cases very seriously, but I don't take myself seriously at all, and neither should you. Welcome to Wife of Crime.
So Russ, this week on the podcast, I have a 2-for-1 special for you. I have a survivor story and a serial killer story all rolled into one. Krystal Surles was brutally attacked by a serial killer. A killer that most people have probably never heard of. Luckily, Krystal survived and helped take down the coast-to-coast killer, a.k.a. Tommy Lynn Sells. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Wife of Crime. This is Jess. And this is a podcast where I tell Russ, my husband, my favorite true crime stories, and he reacts to them.
What's up, guys? It's Russ. I'm back again. Your favorite profiler back here in the building. So if you have any mysteries that need to be solved, you don't got to call Scooby-Doo, call me.
Hit him up, as he likes to say.
Hit me up on the gram if you can find me.
Most people have found you. We have a few of our followers that started following your personal Instagram. Yes. And my personal Instagram too.
That's true. I have like a couple hundred people that found me on Instagram.
Yeah.
But it's all good. I don't really do much on there. Like I just make fun of stuff and stuff like that.
I feel like we definitely post more on our Wife of Crime Instagram than we do on our personal Instagrams.
Yeah, our Instagram, if you want to check us out, you could hit us up. I don't know why that's funny now. But it's Wife of Crime Pod on Instagram. We're there all the time. Jess responds 99% of the time, and the other 1%, it might be me.
Yeah.
We also do have a Facebook, Wife of Crime, The Crime Family. We're on there, too. And then you go to the Twitter, which I found out it's called Wife Crime. I never been on there because I'm getting old.
Yeah, you're not a Twitterer.
I don't understand Twitterers. I don't need all those different ways to talk to you. One is enough.
Well, yeah, we post on all of them. And then wifeofcrime.com, I post a blog for each episode with extra pictures and stuff like that.
And don't forget, it's coming around soon to vote for Russ. I'm your fill-in candidate. Vote for Russ. He's for us. Oh, I'm going to make things better and get you some cheddar.
Another rhyme. We've been getting some really good reviews lately.
Oh, yeah. Thanks for the reviews. Like, we had a review on Apple.
On iTunes, yeah.
Yeah, and it started out with vote for us, he's for us. I'm trying to look at it right now.
A bunch of people have said that in their reviews, vote for us.
That's true, but I have a short-term memory. So, A Cardi, I don't know if I'm saying that right, 23, shout out to you. And then Erin123 had a good one too, because boo to the people who say I'm rude or childish.
True.
I mean, I'm a little childish. We know this.
Yeah, you are. At least you know yourself.
And Hazel JM, shout out to you too. Those are the most recent ones.
Yeah, we've gotten some really good reviews, some really good feedback. We've gotten some messages from people who say they love the podcast. It's really exciting and encouraging to get these messages and see the reviews. So thanks so much. So if you want to give us a review, a 5-star review, hopefully, do it on iTunes. And if not, just don't listen to us anymore if you don't like it.
Yeah, but I also think it's funny when you roast me. But like, you could like roast me, but put 5 stars and do like a smart roast, you know?
Yeah, it helps our algorithm. Maybe.
We think.
Yeah.
All the other podcasts say that, so
That's
we're jumping
true.
on it. And one more thing.
Oh, okay.
Don't forget, we do have merch.
Oh, yeah, we do.
To stay fit, stay alive. So this way, when you're out running and stuff, people that want to mess with you, they know they don't want that smoke. So you can find that on Instagram in the bio or at wifeofcrime.com. There is a merch tab, which I have a hard time finding, but Jess says it's there, and that will lead you to the merch.
It will.
We have like cups.
We have a mug. We have a hoodie that says True Crime and Chill. I wore it today.
Yeah, I wear the True Crime and Chill hoodie all the time. I was going to wear it today, but Jess wore it. And we were walking to the liquor store to get tequila. And I was like, I can't put that on because we're already like the cheesiest couple. We got like a podcast. I don't even tell no one. It's like mad embarrassing. Like, wait.
Do you think we're a cheesy couple?
Oh, we're like the gayest straight couple. It's so embarrassing. We got a podcast. We go jogging sometimes. Well, you don't go jogging no more. But like, we go hiking and we take pictures. Like,
oh, shut up. That's
we're
what
the corniest.
all couples do that. Stop. All couples do that.
But when you have a podcast and you're a couple, but it grew, you know, we got like 50,000 followers or listens or something like that.
More than that now. Yeah, we have a lot going on. So,
oh yeah, and this
exciting.
episode is sponsored today by My Tequila. I switched it up. I normally have bourbon. This is
it's Cinco de Mayo, everybody. Ole.
Tequila
Cinco de
Day.
Mayo.
And
we have Margs on deck.
Oh, that's like Margot from a Military Murder. That's a homie. Say what up to her. She has a good podcast.
She does.
And then because I was gonna say I normally have bourbon.
Oh, you already said that. Okay,
all
we've
right.
rambled enough. That was all of our stuff in the beginning. Now it's time to get into the story. So, Russ,
What you're really here for?
Yeah, that's what they're really here for. They don't care about us talking, to be honest.
Speak for yourself. I don't even have a story.
No, they just want to hear your weird comments. Okay, so this week I have one that is going to be one of my favorite types. What are my favorite types of stories?
Where the man is in trouble and the husband does the dishes.
No, Russ, come on, tell me what is my favorite type of true crime story?
Survival.
Yes. I love survivor stories because I love when people are badass and they get through crazy shit that no one could ever think you could get through. It's encouraging. What is your favorite type of true crime story?
I like the serial killers that have been killing for a long time.
Well,
But I don't like them.
No, you don't like them. You just find serial killers interesting.
If out of all the true crime, that's probably it.
Yeah. So I found a story of a survivor who survived a serial killer after getting brutally attacked and then single-handedly helped police take him down.
That's dope.
And do you know, this serial killer, do you know how old she was? Not serial killer, sorry. Survivor. Do you know how old she was?
Do I have to take a guess between
Take a guess.
10 and 70?
Yes.
53.
She was 10.
Oh.
10 years old.
Okay, get him, girl.
Survived a serial killer and then took him down. Are you ready?
You know what
for
I would
this?
like to hear?
What?
A story where a serial killer like tried to kill someone, but then his victim killed his ass instead.
That's
not
a good
me,
one.
not today, sucker. And then kick him in the nuts and stab him in the neck.
That would be great. I'll try to find one.
Okay, I'm with that.
But today, this story is pretty awesome too. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay. So, This is the survival of Krystal Surles and the takedown of a serial killer named Tommy Lynn Surles. Probably a lot of people have never heard of him because up until I heard his story on a podcast, I had never heard of him either. But he's actually killed a lot of people, and he is very brutal and a total psycho. So it's very crazy. So December 1999, Krystal and her little sister went to stay with family friends in Del Rio, Texas. So her family is from Kansas, and they were going to move to Texas. But the girls were going to fall behind in school if they didn't go ahead of their mom. Their mom was like getting affairs in order before she moved. She probably had some stuff to take care of, selling the house or whatever. So the girls went ahead to Del Rio, Texas without their parents and stayed with this family that is friends of their parents so that they could, be in the school year and not fall behind.
Very trusting.
So December 1999, Krystal and her sister moved to Del Rio, and they're staying with these family friends. Their names are the Harrises. And they stay there for a few weeks. And, Krystal was only 10 years old at the time. And they stayed with this family while their parents prepared to move to Texas. The house was out in the middle of the desert. It was like way out there, no neighbors around.
You said Kansas?
No, they moved from Kansas to Del Rio, Texas. Yeah.
Oh, so now they're in Texas.
Yeah, they're staying with the family in Texas, the Harrises. And they live in a house out in the middle of like nowhere in the desert. There's not really many neighbors around, or the closest neighbor is a few miles away.
Like The Hills Have Eyes.
But it's the desert.
If you didn't see The Hills Have Eyes, check it out. That's a crazy, scary movie.
It really is. So now Krystal, she was really good friends with the oldest daughter. So the Harrises had a husband and wife, and they had 4 kids. Krystal and Katie was the oldest daughter, they were really good friends. And so they pretty much were having like a sleepover every night.
They were like brushing each other's hair and
like doing what little girls do, They had bunk beds in their room.
Making collages of boys they think that are cute and hanging them on the wall.
Definitely.
Most of them have no shirt on and a slight sheen on their chest.
So this was 1999.
Just laugh because she did that.
This was 1999. So like they had, who was like a famous boy preteen in 1999? Maybe it was.
They probably had like the Timberlakes and all.
Oh
that.
yeah, like the NSYNC, Backstreet Boys.
And Prince did, say party like it's 1999.
Well, these girls were having like a month-long sleepover. They were having the best time. So they slept in the same room, in Katie's room, every night in a bunk bed. And Katie slept on the bottom bunk, and Krystal slept on the top bunk.
Oh, I got a funny story about bunk beds.
What?
So when I was younger, my mom used to watch these twins called Kurt and Carl.
Wait, is it Carl or Carl?
Carl. I don't know if it was a C or a K.
It's your Bronx
Kurt
accent.
and Carl. Shut up.
Go ahead.
So they was bad, and my mom told them they couldn't do something. So Kurt or Carl, I don't know which one's which because they look the same, obviously. And
because they're twins, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know which one was which. One's face was a little chubbier, but it's hard to tell. Mm-hmm. So he went in the room and he started going, and he's just like tearing up, turning red. And he was on the bottom bunk and he started kicking the top bunk with his feet. And the whole thing came off and landed on him.
Was he okay?
He didn't die.
Oh my God. Was he injured?
Probably his ego, but that was hilarious.
Wow. How old were they?
Probably like 10.
Oh, okay, so similar age to this girl.
Yeah, like little badass kids, like the ones that you call like Nanny 911 on, and then they don't let you eat no more chicken nuggets.
Wow. Well, Krystal and Katie, they were hanging out in Katie's room for this month of December, having a sleepover every night, having such a fun time, and sleeping in bunk beds. This is like a little girl's dream. So on December 31st, 1999, Krystal and Katie went to bed pretty late because they stayed up talking. And this is New Year's Eve. They stayed up talking, and it was, little kids, when you're a kid and New Year's Eve comes around, you bang pots and pans. It's like really cool to stay up past midnight and wait for the new year.
Yeah, but I used to never be able to stay up past midnight. And then one time, I got another story. And then I woke up and my nanny let me bang pots and pans early in the morning when I woke up. The sun was up, and I went on the deck. Not a deck, it was like a terrace. And I was banging pots and pans, and the neighbors were probably pissed.
Oh, man, that's terrible.
That's
you
all right.
Woke up, everyone was probably hungover.
Nanny had my back. I missed it.
That was sweet of her.
I was very sad, and she was probably drunk. I'm like, grab this, go bang it.
That was sweet of her. So they stayed up late. Krystal and Katie stayed up late on December 31st, and they were just talking, girl talk, you know the deal. And like I said, Katie slept on the bottom bunk, and Krystal slept on the top bunk. Katie was only 13, and Krystal was 10. Suddenly,
that's a big age difference when you're kids.
Well, they were really good friends, so... Suddenly, Krystal woke up to a scream. She didn't fully sit up. She was laying on the top bunk, and she just peered over the top. And she sees a man standing in the bedroom.
Oh, shit.
She saw this man at the bottom of the bunk bed, and he had curly dark hair, a long, bushy, dark beard. And it was dark in the room, but she said, like, his eyes were dark, and he just looked really scary. All of a sudden, the man grabbed Katie, pulled her off the bed, had her in front of him in a kneeling position, and then slit her throat. Katie, her friend.
I didn't see that coming.
So little Krystal is laying in the bed, and she stays as still as she can, and she's peering. She just watched her best friend get her throat slit by a scary man who she has no idea who this is.
Sometimes I hate this podcast.
I'm sorry. So Katie fell to the ground. Krystal, just stayed as still as she could and watched all this. And the man didn't know she was there. So the man starts to walk out of the room.
So he didn't think there might be someone on the top bunk? You only get a bunk bed if there's two kids.
No, he didn't see anybody else because she didn't sit up. She was laying.
So he was stupid, but good thing he was stupid.
Well, he went to walk out the door. He took one look around the room to make sure there was no one else, and then they locked eyes, and he saw her.
Oh.
So he walks back in the room.
No.
He reaches over, and she says that when she was in the top bunk, she scooted all the way to the other side.
Like the boogeyman's coming. Like it's like that as a kid. Like you're scared. Oh my God.
Scoots all the way to the other side. He reaches over with this knife and slits her throat in the bed.
Piece of shit.
So now the man, she just lays down in the bunk bed.
So he just went in there to kill. It's like not even like no... when people break in your house, you normally think they might kill you if they can't get your shit or if you're fighting with them. He just went in there like...
Yeah. So now, she's laying in the bed. Her throat is slit and Katie's throat is slit. The man turns off the light. He had turned on one of the lights in the room. He turns off the light, walks out the door, and closes the door. Okay? But Krystal's not dead. She's alive. So she musters up the strength. She climbs down the bunk bed and crawls over to her friend. Katie is on the floor gurgling.
Oh my God.
And making gagging noises. And Krystal starts rubbing her back, and she says, everything's going to be okay. But she realizes when she went to say this that there was no sound coming out of her mouth because he had severed her vocal cords. So she couldn't speak.
What a good friend. Like, she's like she's terrible situation. She's hurt physically, but she's like rubbing her friend's back even though she's messed up.
Yeah, she crawled over.
But it's weird. It's not weird, but she's not feeling the pain. You have that adrenaline. Like when I broke my arm, I didn't feel it at first.
She's in shock. Yeah, exactly.
But then later, you get that bad pain.
So she's rubbing Krystal's rubbing Katie's back. And she tries to say everything's going to be okay, but no sound comes out. And that's when she realizes, that her throat's cut. She didn't even realize it. She climbed down the bed without even realizing her throat was cut.
I mean, there's blood probably, right?
Well, yeah, but she's in shock. She's just focusing on getting to her friend and making sure her friend's okay because she just saw that happen in front of her.
That's a good friend.
So Krystal said as soon as Katie stopped making noises and I guess died in front of her, she felt like Katie started talking to her. She says she heard Katie. I literally have goosebumps right now.
Oh, shit.
I'm going to cry. She says that she's only 10. Okay, 10. Think about the 10-year-old kids you know. How much of...
They're just fat and they play video games.
Well, you play a lot of video games, so you do.
But I ain't fat.
But 10 years old.
No,
okay,
she had the presence of mind to like...
So she's laying there rubbing her friend's back. Her friend dies in front of her. And she says she hears Katie's voice. And Katie says, go. Get out of here. Get up. Run.
Oh, my God.
Okay, I have chills all over my body right now. So it's pitch black.
Me too, but I don't know if it's because I'm a little cold.
Well, it's pitch black outside. It's pitch black in the house. She doesn't know if this guy is still here. But she's like, I got to get out of here. I got to go. She doesn't know if the whole family is dead. She doesn't know what's going on.
But the family was home, right?
The family's home, yeah. So she stands up and then she crawls down the hallway. There's blood everywhere. Blood is pouring out of her. She crawls down the hallway. She gets to the front door. She opens the front door, stands up, and sees a light all like far away. She sees a light. No, outside. She sees a light and she realizes it's the neighbor's front porch light. And it's like a mile away. So she hears Katie's voice again in her head saying, run to that light. Go.
That's crazy.
So she starts.
I feel like she's not making this up.
No. She says like.
The voice.
When you hear.
I'm not the story.
She feels, when you see interviews with her, she says she feels like Katie's spirit was with her, telling her to go.
So sometimes Jess gets like a red chest during certain situations. And right now she has like blotches on her chest and neck. Whenever like
I get emotional.
She gets emotional, yeah. So when she's yelling at me and the veins are popping out her neck, same thing. But like right now, like
I'm emotional. I am. So this girl, she sees this light. She hears, this voice telling her, run to this light. Run. So she starts staggering. She's walking as fast as she can. Her throat is slit, for God's sakes. Finally,
how far, I wonder, does it have to be slit where your vocal cords are gone, but you're not bleeding out? Like,
well, he didn't sever an artery, but he severed her trachea. Her windpipe was completely severed.
Is that like the thing you could feel right here?
Yeah.
Like in your neck, like you have like a lump?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. He severed her trachea and severed half of her vocal cords. They weren't completely cut in half, but they were like halfway cut.
Okay.
So finally, she makes it to this house and she starts banging on the door. Bang. And this is like 2:00 in the morning. Okay.
That's scary as shit. You're sleeping, you hear them bangs, and you get
right.
Oh my God.
So the guy, the man in the house, wakes up and he's like, "Who's there? Who's there?" He runs to the door. He opens it. He sees this girl with a little girl with her throat slit, blood everywhere. He brings her inside. He realizes that she has these crazy injuries. He calls 911 right away.
Yeah.
Krystal grabs a piece of paper and a pen that she sees on the table and starts writing because she can't talk. So she starts writing and she says, "The Harrises are hurt." That's one thing she writes. The second thing she writes is, "My neck needs help." And the third thing she writes is, "Will I live?" And I'm going to post the picture of the note. It's still there. They had it as evidence.
Wow. Check that out at wifeofcrime.com. We post a lot of evidence there and stuff like that.
So now first responders, they show up and they take Krystal to a local hospital.
You know what I thought of?
What?
You have to make sure you have decent handwriting in case you get a situation like this. Someone could read your handwriting.
Yeah.
I wouldn't know what you're writing.
Whatever. So first responders show up and they take Krystal to a local hospital, but they realize her injuries are way too extensive for this hospital to be able to handle. So they need to life flight her to San Antonio.
Is that a helicopter?
So now imagine this. Yeah. So imagine this. You're at home in Kansas. You get a phone call at 3 a.m. that says your daughter's been attacked. Her throat is slit. Can we life flight her to San Antonio? Imagine that phone call. And you're in Kansas. You have to now board a flight and get all the way to Texas.
Can you life flight me?
No, they can't. So
That's
imagine
true.
the anxiety that her mother probably had.
That's crazy.
So now
This is why, these people didn't do anything wrong because they were sleeping. But like I said in a previous episode, if I had a kid, which I probably won't because they're sticky and they yell and they run and they eat all your money up in diaper money. But if I did, I wouldn't let them sleep over no one's house that's not like have bars on their window at least.
Yeah, well.
Or I wouldn't let my kids sleep over anyone's house.
I know. We talked about that in a previous episode.
Except like my sister or your mom or...
Yeah. People like your family.
But then again, they're over a friend's house and maybe that friend is like family. Like I have friends that I grew up with since I was 5 years old and they're closer to me than any of my family is.
Yeah.
Not any, but a lot of my family.
Yeah, exactly. So it could be a situation like that. You never know.
Yeah, but if my kid was at my friend's house and you went in my friend's house, they would shoot the shit out them. That's what my friends would do. Shout out to you guys.
Well, the family was asleep.
Yes,
it was the middle of the night. It's not like they didn't even hear anything.
Live in a building. Fuck it.
You guys already know because we have been talking about them for a while now. Via Hemp is by far one of our favorite sponsors we've ever had, okay? We use their products all the time. Maybe you're a little like me. You're a little anxious. You have a hard time settling down. You're kind of wound up a lot. If that's you, Via Hemp products are for you. Check out their website. You will find something that speaks to you. Maybe you're like Russ. You have a hard time sleeping because you have bad nerve pain or chronic pain. Then Via Hemp is for you because their gummies will help you get some quality sleep. Maybe you're looking to have a really good time. Maybe you just really like edibles. You want to laugh. You want to get the munchies. You want to watch a movie and have a really strong belly laugh. Then Via Hemp products are for you, okay? They're literally for everybody. So head over to viahemp.com, promo code wifeofcrime1 to get 15% off your first order. That's VIIAHEMP.com. Wife of Crime #1 for 15% off your first order. Last year, Save More Money was the most popular New Year's resolution in America. Clearly, a lot of us feel like our money is slipping through our fingers. Well, I don't know about you, but I'm not the best saver, and I don't know much about investing until I started saving and investing with Acorns. Turns out you don't have to be an expert at all because Acorns will recommend a diversified portfolio that fits you and your money goals. And I always thought that when people say, ooh, I invest in stocks, that they had a ton of money or something. Well, you don't need to be rich. Acorns lets you invest with the spare money you've got right now. You can literally start with $5. And you guys are spending that at Starbucks on these fancy lattes. So skip the coffee and invest with Acorns. You don't even need a ton of time. Like you can just sign up and start investing within 5 minutes. Head over to acorns.com/wifeofcrime or download the Acorns app to start saving and investing for your future today. That's acorns.com/wifeofcrime. Okay, so I'm getting back to the story. So now Pam, her mother, Pam Surles, gets this phone call. Can I life flight your daughter to San Antonio? They need they need a consent. So she's like, of course, obviously, yes, take her. So they take her to San Antonio.
I can't believe they need permission for that.
Well, they do. It's a minor. They need permission for anything.
Permission to live? Never.
So Krystal's mom gets on a plane, rushes to San Antonio. Krystal gets rushed right up to surgery. Okay. As soon as she woke up from surgery and she's in the ICU, she looks at her mom and she says, call the police. I want a sketch artist. I want my description of this guy and I want them to find him. That's the first thing she said when she woke up.
That's crazy because at 10 years old, I didn't know there was a such thing as a sketch artist.
Well, she said, I want the police. I want to give them a description. I want this guy found. That was her first priority, waking up from surgery after having her throat slit.
Yeah, get him. Dope.
So police come and they hire a sketch artist. The sketch artist comes. She gives a really close, accurate description of this guy. And then police come back with a photo lineup. So like a few days later, they get a lineup of all these suspects.
I think she knows exactly. She could
And she goes
through. She could pick
through,
the sucker out of a bar.
and one of the Texas Rangers who was with her watching...
Was it Chuck Norris?
No, but they're called Texas Rangers.
If it was, he would have been dead before
Roundhouse kick him?
No, he would have been dead before he even thought about killing, because Chuck Norris would have got him.
True. So this Krystal is sitting there with this
Is
photo
Chuck Norris
lineup.
still alive?
Yeah.
Respect, Chuck Norris. Hit me up.
So Krystal's sitting here with this photo lineup, and she goes and scans through all these pictures of these men, and then all of a sudden she sees one of the pictures. She goes past it, and then she goes back to it, and then she points him out. And his name is Tommy Lynn Surles.
AKA piece of shit.
So Tommy Lynn
Loser
Surles,
bitch.
he had a reputation with the police department. He had been brought in previously to this particular police department because there were accusations of sexual assault against him. Okay,
But
so
that's weird, because that's what I was so dumbfounded. Normally, these killers, they go in a room with little girls, they might try to touch them or something. He just straight up try to cut them.
Just wait. More to the story. Okay.
Okay.
So police show up at Tommy's house. They already know where he lives. They have his address because they've already dealt with him before. Okay. And he has a bad reputation. They show up to his house. He opens the door for them. He invites them in. And the first thing he says is, "I'm glad I finally got caught. I was tired of doing this."
It was like a job. Like how I hate going to work. He'd be like, "I'm tired of this place."
So he got arrested for murder after saying that, obviously. And they found the murder weapon in a field near his house. He told them where the murder weapon was. Listen to this murder weapon. It was an 11-inch butcher knife that he had used so many times to kill people. He had sharpened it so much that it's like this thin blade that curved. It was like a 11-inch butcher knife that was sharpened and curved into this really super thin blade. Okay. So Tommy was very willing to cooperate. He was also willing to walk the crime scene with them. And there's footage that you can see online of him walking the crime scene. And he literally just talks super frankly and like just very open about his thought process. I'm walking up to the house. I see there's a window. I decide to try to open it.
See, a lot of people now, you need to make sure all your stuff is locked. Like, make it like where it's slightly at least
difficult. Yeah.
At least inconvenient.
Yeah.
Like, it seems like pieces of shit will take the path least resisted, or however you would say that. Mm-hmm. Like, if you could just open a door. So, lock your doors, motherfuckers.
It's true.
And windows and...
Yeah. Don't trust people out here.
Yeah, don't trust no one, not even me, even though I'm a good person.
So now Tommy's really cooperative. He walks through the crime scene, right? And he says to the police, "I climbed through a window and I walked through the home searching for, who my victim would be." Police believed that he specifically targeted Katie because it turns out Tommy was acquaintances with the Harris family. The parents knew him. He wasn't like close friends, but it was like an acquaintance, like somebody that you see and you're like, "Oh, hey, what's up? How you doing?" He knew the family enough and he knew Katie enough, and they think that he specifically sought her out. They believe that this crime was sexually motivated.
Yeah, but he just cut her quick.
He didn't. He sexually assaulted her first.
Oh, no.
But Krystal, I told you the account that Krystal saw, and she didn't see that. She just woke up to a scream. But Tommy admitted that he sexually assaulted her first before killing her.
Was he an old dude?
No, he wasn't too old. I think he was in his 30s, maybe 40s when he did this. So police pretty much have an open and shut case, right? They're like, okay, this dude is super cooperative. Let's convict him of murder.
But can they commit a little bit of police brutality on him?
I know, I wish they would have.
Yeah, because sometimes police brutality in these situations is warranted.
Yeah, definitely.
All the other stuff, keep your taser to yourself.
Well, in this situation, I wish they would have, but I don't know if they did.
Yeah, a little bit of Amadou Diallo plunger in the butt. Get him. No, I'm serious.
So cops, they charge him with the murder of Katie Harris, and he's sent to prison to wait his trial. During the drive in the car on the way to the prison, he looks at one of the officers and he says, "Well, I guess you want to know about all the other murders, right?"
Yeah, they don't want to, because now he did all this, in his mind, what's good work.
No, you're not paying attention.
I'm paying attention.
They had no idea he was a serial killer.
Yes, he wants recognition for his work.
No, okay.
The killer.
Okay.
You follow me.
So he looked at the guy and he said,
I'm profiling.
"Well, I guess you want to know about all the other murders." Police had no idea what they were in for. So these Texas Rangers had a serial killer on their hands, right? They brought him in to an interrogation room, and over multiple sessions, I think it was like 9 months, Tommy Lynn Surles recounted multiple murders spanning multiple states, okay?
Would he travel to kill?
Over a 14-year period. So Tommy, I'm going to tell you a little about Tommy Lynn Surles because he's a serial killer that a lot of people don't really know about. I didn't hear of him until I started listening to serial killer documentaries. I didn't realize he was like a guy because he's never really been too much in the media or anything like that.
Was this a recommendation?
No.
Wow, okay. Not that you can't find your own case, but we get a lot of recommendations too.
Yeah, no, this was. So Tommy Lynn Surles was born June 28th, 1964. When he was born, he was actually a twin. He and his sister Tammy Jean, so it was Tommy Lynn and Tammy Jean. They were twins, and they both contracted meningitis when they were 18 months old. All right? So Tammy Jean unfortunately died from this, but Tommy Lynn survived.
Why do they give them two names?
I don't know.
That's weird.
When he was 2 years old, he was sent to live with his Aunt Bonnie in Missouri. So his aunt was planning to adopt him. And his mother sent him off to live with his aunt. She wasn't the best mom. Sent him off to live with his aunt. His aunt was planning to adopt him. And then when his mom caught wind of his aunt planning to adopt him, she took him back. And she was like, "Oh, no, you're not adopting my son." So when he was 5 years old, he moved back in with his mother. So around 8 years old, a man named Willis Clark started coming around. And with the consent of his mother, this man started grooming and then molesting Tommy. And he molested him consistently for 10 years. Okay. With his mother.
From 8 to 18.
Yes. With his mother.
Damn, once you get older, you got to try to give him that smoke. You got to beat him up.
You've never been through something like that. You have no idea what that feels like, so you can't say nothing.
Well, it's true, but when I was younger, I used to always tell my stepfather, when I get older, I'm going to beat him up.
Yeah, but he didn't do things like that to you. So you don't know what that feels like. I
just would have stabbed him.
So his mother knew about all this abuse, and she was okay with it, which is crazy to me. Like, absolutely crazy.
That happens more than you would know, like, from just, like, random documentaries and TV shows. I didn't think that would be, like, a thing, but it seems to be a thing of weak people that have kids.
Yeah, like, I've heard of it, too, of parents allowing this kind of stuff, and it's disgusting.
I think the parents should get the same consequence as the person that committed the, like, sexual assault.
Yeah.
Like, if that person goes to jail, the parent that allowed it should go to jail, or whatever happens, it should be equal.
I have to agree with you on that. I do.
Did you just agree with me?
I did.
It's been about 6 months since you agree with me.
I do agree with you on that.
Holy moly.
So now Tommy said that the abuse that he suffered really affected him greatly. Like, he was super obviously super affected by this. It caused him to start doing drugs. And then when he was 15 years old, he actually committed his first murder. So Tommy Lynn, he had 22 confirmed murders, okay, that the police actually confirmed with him. But Texas...
That's a lot.
Exactly. But Texas Ranger John Allen, the one who was the lead investigator for this crime, he believes there are many, many more than 22.
Because I think that if you have 22 murders, you have so many, you might forget some.
Well, the crazy thing about Tommy was... So the media dubbed him the Coast to Coast Killer. He got that name because he was a bit of a drifter. He was a hitchhiker, and then he got random jobs as an over-the-road truck driver. So he killed people in multiple states all over the country. So they called him the coast-to-coast killer because he went literally from one side of the country to the other, and there's murders all over the country that he committed. So now he killed men, women, and children. He didn't have a type. Kind of like Israel Keys. He didn't have a set type. He was just brutal.
Israel Keys was bugged out with those killer buckets.
Oh, no, he was. He was bugged out. But
yo, go check out Israel Keys episode. That dude would plant buckets to kill people in different states. It was like a kill bucket with all the stuff he would need.
So I see Tommy Lynn Surles as very similar, like a predator, just like Israel Keys. But the difference is Tommy wasn't nearly as well planned out. He just was opportunistic. He would drive across the country. He'd have random situations that would happen, and he'd kill people in them.
I think he was, if you say he was like Israel Keys, I think he was on the same, like he was in the same state where he wanted to do this, but he was dumber.
Yeah, he wasn't as smart and thought out as Israel Keys. Israel Keys was very calculated, and he wasn't. So, like I said, his first murder was when he was 15 years old. He says he broke into a house to burglarize it, but once he got inside, he saw an older man sexually abusing a young kid.
I don't believe him.
Well, he ended up killing the man, and the kid got away. And he says that he did this in a fit of rage because it brought back memories of his sexual assault.
Yeah.
So then when he was 21... he started killing men, women, and children. He killed in New York, Illinois, Massachusetts, Texas, Missouri, and Kentucky. And those are all the states that he has confirmed kills in. He was a very violent killer. His typical MO was throat slashing or bludgeoning someone with a blunt object, like, hitting someone in the head or something. He would also sexually abuse a lot of his victims, so it was like sexually motivated in that way. But his actual killing was very violent.
What was the years this was going on, the range?
This was going on between, I think...
or even just like 60s, 70s?
Oh, no, it was the 80s and 90s.
Oh, so this is when I was a kid.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And he was in New York, and he killed a woman in New York.
Yeah, but New York is huge.
No, he might have been New York State.
When you say New York, if you're not in the 5 boroughs, the rest of that is another state.
No, it's true.
We call that Albuquerque. Where is Albuquerque?
New Mexico.
That's where Bugs Bunny took a right turn.
So Krystal Surles had to return to Del Rio, okay? She was now living in a different area of Texas. She had to return to Del Rio the following year and face Tommy Lynn Surles in court.
Get that bitch.
They don't do this really anymore. So nowadays, if a kid is like testifying against adult for either a sexual assault or some type of, violent crime, the child will be like via FaceTime or Zoom or something like that. They're not going to put a child in a situation to have their killer sitting directly in front of them because it's traumatizing.
Yeah, but also if the killer looks at them, they might get a little intimidated. Like, like in person.
You mean the child will get intimidated?
I mean, the child might get a little intimidated and not want to say something.
Well, this is what happened with Krystal. So she comes back to Del Rio, and she actually stayed with John Allen, the Texas Ranger, right? She stayed with him in his house and with his family, like 2 days before the trial. And she was having nightmares, because she's 11 at this point. It's only a year later. So she's having nightmares, but she decides to go in and be strong. In the middle of her testimony, you can look up videos of the testimony. And in the middle of it, Tommy Lynn Surles is like shaking his knees. Like his knees are shaking. He's like banging on his leg. Like he's very fidgety and nervous. And it starts to make Krystal nervous. So she needs to actually step away.
Someone would have hit him in the head.
Well, she's halfway through her testimony. They take her into the back, and her lawyer and her mom give her a pep talk. They're like, come on, you can do this. You only got a few more minutes. Tell the rest of your story. Tell them what happened.
Hell yeah.
Let's get this guy put away. You can do this. You're strong. So she comes back out. She says she just like wiped the tears away. and she just finished her testimony. She actually laid on the table, like in front of the jury. Her defense attorney, or no, the prosecutor, had her lay on the table and show like a reenactment of her peering over the bunk bed.
Holy
just so
moly.
that people in the jury could kind of imagine being in the room, seeing this horrific thing. So now, after she broke down, she finished, and the defense attorney for Tommy Lynn Surles started crying during her testimony.
That's what I'm talking about. When you're a defense attorney for a piece of shit, just fucking sandbag
Well,
it.
he didn't cross-examine her. He said, "No questions, Your Honor."
Hell yeah. What's his name?
I don't know.
Respect to you. You're my favorite person in the podcast so far, because I hate that. He probably was like, I don't care about the money. I don't care about my reputation. I don't care about the wins and losings.
Yeah, he just said no further questions.
This motherfucker needs to go to jail, and he needs to get molested and tortured or whatever.
Well,
we need to look him up. Someone, if you know what his name is,
I'll look him up later.
Look him up, and let's send him a message for being a good person.
So Tommy was convicted of murder and sexual assault of Katie Harris, and he was sentenced to death. The jury only deliberated for 1 hour.
I'm surprised it took that long. I would have went in 1 minute.
That's pretty quick for a jury.
I would have went in 1 minute. They would open the door. I would have been like, fuck them.
But the problem is, a lot of people don't agree with the death penalty. Yes, this is Texas, so I'm sure majority of the jurors did agree with it, because in Texas they're a little more liberal with the death penalty. But in other parts of the country, people don't agree with the death penalty.
They need to mind their business. Put them in front of the firing squad.
Anyway, so he sat on death row for 14 years. And during this time, he confessed to even more murders. He did a documentary and a ton of media interviews. And the ID channel actually has him on the show Most Evil. It was a show that the ID channel has. He was on an episode of Most Evil. And Surles claimed in that show that he killed 70 people.
Unless you're writing them down, I can't even remember 70 people's names right now. So right now, he's just trying to get a TV show. Well, he's dead, hopefully.
Yeah, he was executed on April 3rd, 2014. They asked Tommy if he wanted to give a final statement, and he said no. They injected him with the lethal injection, and within a few minutes, he died. His heart stopped. So Krystal...
They should have tortured him, like waterboard him and all kind of stuff.
Well, Krystal was at the execution. Her and her mother and Katie Harris, the victim, Katie Harris, who passed away, her family, they were all at the execution, and they watched him die. And Krystal could finally express a sigh of relief, because the monster who haunted her for 15 years, you have to imagine, now this is 15 years later. Okay?
She's still haunted even though he's gone.
Oh, yeah, definitely. So, but she got to see this closure, right?
Yeah.
She had long-term PTSD after the incident for 2 years following this.
Oh,
her mom, her sisters, and her all slept in the same bed every night because she was too afraid to sleep alone. Like, she had serious anxiety and PTSD. She ended up going through years of counseling and just got through it day by day. In November of 2015, this is interesting. Listen to this. November 2015, after watching an episode of Crime Watch Daily, a woman named Melissa Tate, whose mother, Joanne Tate, was murdered in 1982, immediately contacted police. She was only 7 years old when her mother was murdered, and her testimony put a man away named Rodney Lincoln. But it turns out, when she saw this Crime Watch Daily episode, she realized Rodney Lincoln was the wrong man.
Oh, no.
And she called and she recanted her statement. They did DNA testing, because this happened in the 80s, so there was no DNA testing.
I hate that when innocent people go to jail.
I know, but he got out.
Yeah,
he
but
spent 32 years in jail.
32. His life is... God damn.
But Tommy Lynn Surles was the one who murdered her mother. But at least she made it right. At least she called and made it right, and he got out because they DNA tested his crime scene, and he got out.
I don't know that case, but I'm not okay with that.
Of course you're not, but he got out.
No,
And
he's not out. He's 103 now.
No, he's
32
not.
years later, you're 100.
No, he's not.
32 years from now, I'm 100, even though I'm 29.
So now Krystal Surles is in her 20s. She says she doesn't waste any energy thinking about Tommy Sells anymore. She says she won't give him the power of letting the fear control her. And she instead tries to look at the situation as that she is the luckiest girl alive.
True.
And she doesn't take anything for granted anymore. And she just lives her life to the fullest because she was that close to death. And she doesn't let him haunt her anymore, but instead looks at him as the second chance that she got.
Wow.
And lives a positive life, like the power of positive thinking.
Now, I wonder, does she still hear her friend's voice every now and then?
I don't know.
Because she
didn't say anything.
Because she
like
said
that.
she could hear it in the moment.
Yeah.
Now, I wonder if she could still hear that voice every now and then. Like,
I don't know. I think she more thinks that her friend was with her in those moments, getting her, encouraging her to go and run and find help.
yeah,
So
that's crazy.
So that's the survival of Krystal Surles and the takedown of Tommy Lynn Sells. So,
Well, respect to Krystal. I wrote your name down so I don't have to ask Jess what your name is.
that's nice. Yeah.
Yeah, like I have a little sheet. Maybe I'll take a picture and put it on like Instagram or something. And
that's it.
that's dope. That was a good ass story. I feel like this was a long episode, probably about an hour. So everyone go check out Instagram, Wife of Crime Pod. Click that merch, buy yourself a coffee cup and put whiskey in it.
Happy Cinco de Mayo, everybody. Have a wonderful week. I hope you guys are staying safe during quarantine and enjoying your time, even though it's tough. I know it's getting tough, especially with the weather getting better in like the East Coast. It's like really hard to stay inside, but we got to do it.
Yeah, but just like stay fit, stay alive, go jogging, stay 6 feet away from people. If they come next to you, just jog in the other direction.
True.
It's all right. It's not that bad. And then collect unemployment. They give you extra $600 nowadays. It's not that bad.
All right, everyone. Have a good week. We'll see you soon.